The Boston Celtics were rolling, one of the top seeds in the East. Jayson Tatum was playing some of the best basketball of his career. Clutch, composed, unstoppable, until it all came crashing down. Game 4 against the New York Knicks, late fourth quarter, the game hanging in the balance. And then, in an instant, everything changed. Tatum collapsed. No contact, just a sudden step, and a devastating injury. He grabbed at his lower right leg. The look on his face? Pain, panic, realization. The verdict came fast. A ruptured Achilles tendon, the kind of injury that ends seasons, sometimes careers, and always rewrites futures. Jayson Tatum, Boston's franchise cornerstone, was done. Not just for the playoffs, maybe for next season too. And just like that, the Celtics' championship window slammed shut. But there's more to this story than just a torn tendon, a cutting-edge surgery that could redefine recovery timelines, a looming financial crisis for Boston's front office, and huge questions about the future of the roster, the coaching staff, and whether the Celtics can survive without their star. This isn't just about an injury. This is the beginning of a crossroads, for Tatum, for Boston, and for everything they've built. Let's break it down. It happened in a split second. A moment that fans, teammates, and even Tatum himself will never forget. Game 4, Knicks versus Celtics. Tatum was doing what he does best, cutting hard, making a play, trying to shift momentum in the final minutes. Then, mid-step, he crumbled. No contact, no warning, just a sudden collapse to the floor, his hands instantly grabbing his right leg. Players on both teams waved for trainers. The arena went quiet. You didn't need a replay. Everyone knew something serious had happened. Within hours, the diagnosis was confirmed. A full rupture of the right Achilles tendon, one of the worst injuries in basketball. And for a player like Jayson Tatum, who relies on footwork, balance, and burst, it's absolutely devastating. Achilles injuries don't just sideline players. They fundamentally challenge who they are. It's the same injury that took Kevin Durant out for over a year. That slowed down DeMarcus Cousins. That ended the peak of Kobe Bryant's career. It's not just about rehab, it's about reinvention. Because the Achilles is more than just a tendon. It's the bridge between explosiveness and limitation. And for Tatum, this isn't just physical. It's mental, it's emotional, it's a test of everything he's built his career on. Within 48 hours of the injury, Tatum underwent surgery at the Hospital for Special Surgery in New York City, under the care of renowned orthopedic specialist Dr. Martin O'Malley, a name that NBA fans may recognize. Dr. O'Malley's list of clients includes Kevin Durant, Derrick Rose, and countless elite athletes. He's known for using cutting-edge techniques, and in Tatum's case, he turned to something called the speed bridge technique. Unlike traditional Achilles surgeries that rely on slower internal healing, the speed bridge method uses anchors and fiber wire to secure the tendon in place, strengthens the structure immediately, allowing earlier movement, and most importantly, could shave months off the typical recovery timeline. This isn't a miracle fix, but it's a major innovation. Early reports say the procedure was successful, and that Tatum's surgery went as well as possible. Still, no one is sugarcoating what lies ahead. Just weeks ago, Tatum was being talked about in MVP circles. He was averaging over 27 points, 8 rebounds, and leading the Celtics through a dominant season. Now, he's facing a 9 to 12-month recovery, which means no Olympic run this summer, no opening night for the 2025-26 season, and possibly an entire season on the sidelines. For Boston and for Tatum, this is more than an injury. It's a reconstruction of a player, a team, and an entire franchise's direction. When an NBA player suffers an Achilles tear, the clock starts ticking, but not just on recovery. It starts ticking on their future, their explosiveness, and in many cases, their identity. And for Jayson Tatum, who just turned 27 and is entering what should be his prime, the question now is, how long will it take to get back? And what version of Tatum will we see when he returns? Recovery from a torn Achilles is typically a 9 to 12-month process for elite athletes, but the Celtics and Tatum are reportedly hoping for the shorter end thanks to the speed bridge surgical technique used in his operation. First 2 to 3 months. Immobilization and controlled mobility. Months 3 to 6. Light load-bearing, range of motion, and early strength training. Months 6 to 8. Intense rehab, dynamic movement, basketball-specific drills. Month 9 onward. Return to contact, full practice, and eventually gameplay. Some optimistic projections place Tatum back on the court by February or March 2026. But here's the reality. Even if he's medically cleared, he might not be himself until late 2026. or even the following season. The Achilles tendon is one of the strongest in the human body, but once torn, it never quite becomes the same. For a player like Tatum, who thrives on explosive first steps, pull-up jumpers off sharp pivots, step backs, spin moves, and mid-air adjustments, the Achilles is everything. And even with successful rehab, many players need additional time to trust their body again. Then comes the mental battle, and it's one fans often overlook. Every step, every cut, every landing, there's a lingering fear. Will it tear again? For players who depend on rhythm, timing, and total confidence in their footwork, this fear is paralyzing. We've seen stars like Kevin Durant beat the odds and return to form. We've also seen others, like DeMarcus Cousins, Wesley Matthews, or Brandon Jennings, struggle to recapture their edge. Tatum has the mindset, the resources, and the team to fight back. But this injury doesn't just test your body, it tests your will. What this means for the 2025-26 season? Let's be real. Even with aggressive rehab, Tatum will likely miss the majority of next season. The Celtics won't want to rush him. The risk of re-injury is too high. And with his max contract, they'll protect the asset long-term. So the team and the fans may need to shift expectations. Instead of another title run in 2026, it could be a transition year, a season of treading water, developing younger talent, and preparing for a full-speed Tatum return in fall 2026. Jayson Tatum's Achilles injury isn't just a medical crisis. It's a financial earthquake. Because while Tatum recovers in a walking boot, the Celtics are staring at a $227 million payroll for the upcoming season, and nearly $60 million in luxury tax penalties on top of that. And now, the player that everything was built around, the face, the system, the future, is gone. At least for the next year. So the question becomes, what do the Celtics do now? Boston has one of the most expensive rosters in the NBA. In fact, they were already bracing for the new second luxury tax apron to kick in, a CBA provision that punishes big spending teams by limiting trades, free agency flexibility, and draft capital movement. Here's where the money's going. Jayson Tatum, $51 million, Supermax extension kicks in next season. Jaylen Brown, $53 million, NBA's richest contract, $304 million over 5 years. Kristaps Porzingis, $30 million. Jrue Holiday, $36 million. Derrick White, due for a major extension. That's over $170 million tied up in just 5 players, and one of them, Tatum, won't play. With Tatum out, Boston must now answer some brutal questions. 1. Does Jaylen Brown take over as the number one option? Jaylen will be asked to carry the load, but we've seen this before. He's explosive, no doubt. But is he a playmaker? Can he lead? Can he do it without Tatum drawing the double teams? If he falters, the pressure will mount to either trade him or retool the team around a different core. 2. Is Derrick White a trade chip now? White is entering the final year of his deal, and with his value peaking, Boston may have to consider moving him, either for picks or younger talent that fits a longer timeline. Sources have already hinted that White is seen as a surprising trade candidate, not because of performance, but because of financial survival. 3. What happens with Jrue and KP? Holiday will be 35 by the time Tatum returns. Porzingis has an injury history and is on a pricey contract. Do you burn a season of their prime with no Tatum? Or flip one of them for draft assets or expiring deals? The man in charge, Brad Stevens, has some major decisions to make. Does he go all in without Tatum and try to win anyway? Or take a step back, get under the tax, and build a longer runway for when Tatum returns? There's no easy answer. But what's clear is this. Boston's current roster was built to win now. And now, the foundation is missing. When your franchise player tears his Achilles during a playoff run, it doesn't just change next season, it changes your identity. And that's exactly where the Boston Celtics find themselves now. Because this team, built for the present, suddenly needs to start thinking about the future. Not just next season, but 2026 and beyond. Let's be honest. Without Jayson Tatum, Boston is no longer a championship contender. Even with Jaylen Brown, Jrue Holiday, and Porzingis playing well, they're not beating the Bucks, Nuggets, or a healthy Knicks squad in a 7-game series. So the Celtics have 2 choices. 1. Try to stay afloat and chase a low playoff seed while burning energy, cash, and cap space. 2nd, or embrace a strategic step back, retooling around younger talent and financial flexibility. Brad Stevens is known for being patient, smart, surgical, And this injury might finally push him to make the hardest move of all: recalibrate the timeline. Here's what that could look like. Develop young talent. Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, O'Shea Brissett, and Jordan Walsh could see increased minutes. Let these guys sink or swim, and evaluate who can contribute long-term when Tatum returns. Boston could even use this time to identify untapped role players that fit a Tatum-centric rebuild, reclaim flexibility. By shedding veteran contracts, e.g. trading Derrick White or letting Al Horford retire, Boston could get under the new second apron, recoup draft picks they've traded in past win-now moves, reset the luxury tax clock, which has long-term implications for team building. Play the long game with Tatum. The best-case scenario isn't squeezing into the 2026 playoffs. It's bringing Tatum back at 100% rested and mentally ready to reclaim the spotlight. This strategic step back isn't about tanking. It's about preserving your window. Because the real opportunity isn't next year. It's the 2026-27 season and beyond, when Tatum, still in his prime, is healthy and hungry. Picture this: a healthy Tatum returns in 2026. Jaylen Brown, if retained, is reimagined as a co-star, not the lead. Boston brings in a younger, bigger stretch four through the draft or trades, and they surround Tatum with shooters, defenders, and low-ego contributors. Sound familiar? It's the Spurs model, the Warriors post-KD pivot. It's how dynasties stay alive, by thinking long-term before they're forced to. In one moment, it all changed. Jayson Tatum, the face of a franchise, the leader of a city, the heart of the Boston Celtics, tore his Achilles. Jayson Tatum's injury is a significant setback, but it's also an opportunity for the Celtics to demonstrate resilience and strategic acumen. As the team adapts to this new reality, fans and analysts alike will watch closely to see how Boston navigates this challenging period. What do you think the Celtics should do now? Hold the core? Blow it up? Is Tatum still the guy to build around? Let us know in the comments. And by the hoop, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.